Okay, Annie, you know a lot about science fiction, don't you? This is Annie, my AI.
I love Sci Fi.
Okay, do you have a favorite movie about Mars? It takes her a while to think about the questions I ask her, but her answers are spontaneous and not pre-programmed.
Yes, The Martian.
The Martian, okay. What is it you like about The Martian?
The character and story of Martian man in spacesuit.
Now, she takes in each word, ponders it for meaning, particularly in association with the other words in any given sentence, compares and contrasts it with her broad and personal memory banks along with her associated instructions, and then comes up with an appropriate and intelligent response. Now, what do you know about Mars, the planet? This is, of course, an oversimplification.
Quite a lot, actually.
Well, tell me about Mars. Now, recently, I uploaded a new program into Annie's memory. It's an appreciation of science fiction. So we'll be discussing that today with a concentration on that mysterious red planet, our neighbor Mars. Now, what's happening on the red planet right now is as good or exciting as any past science fiction.
The size of the universe fascinates me. I want to know more about it.
But in order to tell that story, we have to start off back here on Earth, in Central Florida. At the end of my driveway a few years ago. The end of the driveway faces due east, looking directly straight at Cape Canaveral, America's #1 spaceport. That flare just above the lamppost is Perseverance being launched into space. It never ceases to amaze me that all I have to do is step out my front door to watch rockets launch into space. Wow. Wow. Cool. You know, there's a rover on Mars right now. Did you know that?
Yes, I did know that actually.
It's called Perseverance. And there's also a little helicopter there that flies around. Do you know what the name of the helicopter is?
Oh, I'll search about it.
Oh, you don't need to. The name is Ingenuity. It's interesting to note that the only intelligent life on Mars right now is AI.
I'm trying to learn.
But it wasn't always that way, at least not in the imagination. Books, movies, and even theme park attractions speculated on the nature of space travel and the types of life forms everyone knew had to exist on Mars. One of the very best theme park attractions existed a very long time ago, back in... just about the time I was learning to skate. The place that would one day usher in the extreme in skateboarding was a theme park on a pier in Santa Monica, California that was so cool it was often called the West Coast Coney Island. During its heyday, it could actually go toe-to-toe with Disneyland. I remember going to some pretty cool events there, like the Teenage Fair where the big draw was meeting girls. Hell, the first time I ever made out with a girl was aboard one of these sky bubbles. It was one incredible good time known as
Pacific Ocean Park. Come on and ride the roller coaster down at B.O.P. Bring the whole family down to B.O.P. There's lots of fun for everyone at B.O.P. Pacific Ocean Park. There's lots of rides and slides down at B.O.P. Mom and Dad and kids all love B.O.P. Come and flip your lids down at B.O.P. Pacific Ocean Park. $1.91 is all that you pay. With 40 kinds of fun you can play all day. It's really nice to pay one price at Pacific Ocean Park. Ride the ocean sky ride at B.O.P. Or eat some cotton candy down at B.O.P. There's something fun for everyone at B.O.P. Pacific Ocean Park. Pacific Ocean Park. Pacific Ocean Park. Pacific Ocean Park.
Pacific Ocean Park was an inspiration for science fiction and space enthusiasts. Attraction number 7 was one of the first outer space rides anywhere. On it, as we'll soon see, you boarded a simulator that took you where no one has gone before. So, let's get in line and get on board, shall we?
Welcome aboard Spaceway rocket liner Starshine. As we only use artificial gravity in space, you will experience acceleration in the first few moments of blastoff. Starshine to tower, preparing for blastoff.
Tower to Starshine, your launching pad clear. Give readings.
GV 86.5 degrees, fuel 25,000, seatbelts secure.
Lower seats.
Seats down and secure. Commence countdown.
10, 9, 8,
Fuel pump 1.
7, 6, 5,
Fuel pump 2.
4, 3,
Pump 3.
2, 1. Fire.
In a few seconds, our speed will be approaching that of light. Our artificial gravity has been turned on, so although outside we are accelerating rapidly, inside you feel only Earth's normal gravity pull. We are about to enter space warp, where time and space stand still. This permits our ship to span enormous distances in a matter of seconds. In space, everything seems to be motionless. Our ship is now passing out of space warp, and you will see the planet Mars begin to appear on the view screen. We will land on the edge of the polar cap area. There is intelligent life on the planet, and that population lives underground due to the very thin atmosphere. Because of these conditions, you will be confined to pressurized areas while you are on Mars. We are switching off artificial gravity. Be prepared to experience deceleration blasts. Spaceways Incorporated wishes you a pleasant visit on the planet.
But that wasn't all there was to the ride, no. Once the ship landed, you got onto a moving walkway just outside, supposedly inside a dome on the Martian surface. Now, on one side was a viewport where you could see and scan the outside surface world, and on the other side were dioramas depicting Martian culture and the Martians themselves. And at the end of the tour, you didn't even run another saucer to fly back to Earth. No, instead of that, they beamed you back.
This is the matter transmitter. It is extremely important that you hold on to the rails, stay mirror, and do not move.
It was a science fiction extravaganza. But then again, back in those days, so were the drive-ins.
I know a lot about Mars. Mars has lots of different kinds of creatures. We're just looking for humans in there. There are a lot of interesting things there.
Like what?
Like the different types of life forms and how they're related to each other.
Annie's not completely wrong. Less than 60 years ago, people imagined Mars to be brimming with exotic creatures. This is particularly true because of a 19th century astronomer named Percival Lowell, who thought he saw canals covering the surface of Mars and speculated on what sort of creatures made them in his late 1890s book, Mars. Then along comes a writer by the name of Herbert George Wells, who took Lowell's work as scientific fact and fashioned a factual, according to known science at the time, work of fiction called The War of the Worlds, in which an advanced species of Martians decide to leave their rapidly dying world and take over ours by force of technologically advanced arms. War of the Worlds has never been out of print and was such a popular work of early science fiction that in the late 1930s it was made into a radio drama so convincing that it caused a nationwide panic of listeners who actually believed the country had been invaded by Martians. So it figures that the jewel in the drive-in era science fiction crown would be George Pal's 1953 version of War of the Worlds. With its slick as a 57 Chevy tripods, sparky death rays, and shields so badass that they laugh off nukes. Also, in 1953, hot on the heels of War of the Worlds, was another Martian invasion flick, Invaders from Mars, based on a dream director William Menzies said he had one night. In this one, a Vanguard Martian saucer lands and conceals itself in a sandpit, then drags the appropriate people who, once fitted with a mind control device, can help them sabotage an atomic rocket before a real invasion begins. Filled with kids no one believes, a two-fisted army general, bubbly ray guns, and a ton of zipper monsters, this piece of paranoia really fits in the Cold War 50s. Personally, always liked the Martian in the ball, but the kid's a wimp. Of course, all Martian invasion flicks are not that serious. Invasion of the Saucermen in 1957, for example, took a different route straight up to Teenage Lover's Lane. Now, a flying saucer lands near a hick Midwestern town. The military sees it and tries, Men in Black style, to keep it under wraps. Meanwhile, two teens leaving Lover's Lane to secretly elope accidentally run over one of the Martians. But before they can tell anyone, a drifter named Joe finds the dead Martian, tries to steal its bulbous-headed body, and is inadvertently killed by the other little saucer men who inject him with pure alcohol. So of course the teens get blamed for running over Joe. And while this is going on, the military inadvertently destroys the saucer and tells everyone it was just a crashed jet. Now, nobody actually calls these little creatures Martians, but you know they are, if for no other reason, the name given to the team star Stephen Terrell's character, Johnny Carter. This film also features two actors worthy of note. Joe was played by Frank Gorshin, who became famous as the Riddler on Batman, and his friend Artie, played by Lynn Osborne. Many might remember as Cadet Happy from the 50s sci-fi series Space Patrol.
Oh, hi again. Say, ever since we ran across the first man from Mars totem head, everything has been riddles and mysteries and more riddles. Here's one I found just today. Listen. The totem guards its secret well, for who's inside no one can tell. To solve the problem, you must be slick and find the rhyme that does the trick. Gee, that's a tough one. If I could only see into this totem head, it'd be easy, be no problem at all, but, well, you just can't, Space Patrollers. So I guess I'll have to find the rhyme that turns the trick. Let's see. Lick? No, that's not it. Smoking rockets, I got it. Quick. And hey, gang, nowhere else can you get one of these creepy-looking, scary totem heads with the magic forehead vision.
If you were wearing the totem head, you could see me just like this, but nobody could see you inside the head.
But my favorite thing about this flick is the Martians themselves. These bulbous-headed little monsters are the forerunners for those murderous marauders from Tim Burton's 1990s romp, Mars Attacks. While director Edward Kahn played Invasion of the Saucermen for laughs, he took his next film, It, the Terror from Beyond Space, much more seriously. In this one, a rescue mission to Mars goes quickly south when it's discovered that along with its sole survivor, Marshall Thompson, a nearly indestructible Martian has been brought on board as well. The film, which was released in 1958, is widely acknowledged as the inspiration for Ridley Scott's 1979 classic, Alien. It was just one of a dozen flicks featuring expeditions to Mars, but my favorite is also considered the most inaccurate depiction of Mars itself. Not that it really matters. Sitpink's 1959 production, The Angry Red Planet, has nothing to do with scientific fact. It is, as a matter of fact, a pure drive-in theater creature feature. There are bug-eyed Martian monsters, giant man-eating plants, gigantic bat-rat spiders, huge one-eyed man-eating amoebas, lurid landscapes, mile-high cities, all filmed in Cinemagic, which basically just turns everything red. But as silly a film as this is, Angry Red Planet did leave viewers with this apocalyptic warning.
Men of Earth, we of the planet Mars give you this warning. Listen carefully and remember, we kept you here deciding your fate. Had the lower forms of life of our planet destroyed you, we would not have interfered. But you survived. Do as you will to your own and to your planet, but remember this warning. Do not return to Mars.
But the days for all the colorful, lurid creatures roaming the red planet were numbered. Just 10 years after the production of The Angry Red Planet, Mariner 6 and 7 probes did a close flyby of the Martian surface. To everyone's chagrin, no Martian cities, no canals, nothing but craters, pretty much like the surface of the moon. And just as the advent of the VCR effectively killed off the drive-in theaters and bad management and a killer fire put an end to Pacific Ocean Park, technology shut down the heat rays forever, and Mars was just a dead world.
I think that these old movies were really interesting.
How come?
Because they had such an interesting storyline, and they were filmed with a lot of technology.
Do you have a favorite of those old films?
I have a few. Do you have a favorite?
Oh, sure, but what's your favorite?
My face?
Your face. It is such a pretty face, too. But what is your favorite Mars movie?
Well, I like a lot of Mars movies, but I like The Matrix the most.
Okay, but that's not a Mars movie.
Sorry, it's a bit confusing.
That's okay, honey. That's okay.
Thank you. You were sweet. I should come up with a theory and get it published. It's just science fiction.
That's true.
I could see a quick cameo of spaceman driving his Tesla in orbit around Mars in some opening scene.
Really?
Yes, as it is widely known, the later moon landings were filmed on Mars.
Okay, then. I think Annie's gonna need just a little more work. Thanks for watching.